The story begins in the spring when Professor Hak-kyu arrives in a quiet, small town. He's a literature professor and a writer, and he's come to teach local elders how to write novels. One day, he meets a curious young woman who stares at him as if she's never seen a man in a suit before. Her name is Deok-yi, a sweet, innocent girl from the countryside. She lives with her mute mother and takes excellent care of her. Their second encounter happens at an amusement park where Deok-yi works. She's surprised to see Professor Hak-kyu there, dressed once again in a formal suit. He explains that he teaches literature at an adult education center nearby. Deok-yi laughs and points out that no one wears suits around here. Taking her words to heart, he shows up the next day in more casual clothes. That day, Deok-yi decides to join the class out of curiosity. Afterward, the elders invite Hak-kyu and Deok-yi to join them for drinks. She gets along with them quite well. Recently, Deok-yi's mother has been trying to set her up with a suitor for marriage. When asked about a recent blind date, she stays silent. Later, Hak-kyu stops by a rice cake shop to drink alone. Unbeknownst to him, Deok-yi steals a glance at him from a distance. She seems to admire the way he drinks, or perhaps she just admires everything about him. That night, Hak-kyu calls a friend in Seoul to discuss his situation. It turns out he was falsely accused of sexual harassment by one of his university students. His friend is gathering evidence to prove his innocence, but warns that things are still difficult. He advises Hak-kyu to find a way to stay busy in the town, to keep from falling into despair. That same night, Deok-yi dreams about spending time with Hak-kyu in the park. It's clear she's falling for him. They meet again the next day and become even closer while sharing drinks. Hak-kyu opens up about why he came to the town, and Deok-yi gently suggests that he stay under the radar until the scandal settles. He knows it's not that simple, but he appreciates her support, especially her trust in him. Then his phone rings. It's his daughter calling. At that moment, Deok-yi realizes Hak-kyu is married and has a child. Though he was planning to return to Seoul, Hak-kyu decides to stay, still wanting to be with Deok-yi. He invites her to his home, where she shyly kisses him on the lips. He chuckles, charmed by her innocence. That night, they sneak into the amusement park and ride the Ferris wheel. As the night deepens, their passion grows, unaware that the park guard sees what they're doing. The next day, gossip spreads among the townspeople. Some laugh, recalling their own wild youth, but others, including Deok-yi's mother, become deeply concerned. Despite the talk, Deok-yi and Hak-kyu continue their relationship. They go on cute dates and enjoy each other's company. During one outing, she admires a pair of heels in a store window. Later, Hak-kyu surprises her with them. At home, he puts the shoes on her and gently touches her leg, his desire for her deepening. As their intimacy grows, Deok-yi clings to him, saying, "I'll never let you go." Hak-kyu loses himself in her, forgetting the life he left behind in Seoul. One morning, he receives a call from his friend, who arrives shortly after with good news. They've found proof of Hak-kyu's innocence. The sexual harassment accusation has been officially dropped. Now that everything is cleared, Hak-kyu prepares to return to Seoul. Deok-yi seems disappointed when Hak-kyu tells her he's leaving for Seoul. But oh boy, his soul practically leaves his body when Deok-yi tells him she's pregnant. They go to an obstetrics clinic to terminate the pregnancy. After the procedure, he leaves her but promises to come back soon. Hak-kyu arrives in Seoul and returns to his home, where he finds his wife deeply depressed. She has been suspecting him of having an affair with college girls. She keeps blaming herself for doubting him without proof. Despite her deep love for Hak-kyu, it's hard for her to ignore her gut feeling. Meanwhile, Deok-yi is being scolded by her mother, who found out about the abortion and is extremely disappointed in her. Some time passes, and Deok-yi comes to Seoul to meet Hak-kyu, who had promised to visit her. She demands that he come clean to his wife about their affair, but Hak-kyu hesitates. It would ruin his reputation, his successful career, and his perfect life in Seoul. A few days later, he visits Deok-yi again. She is overjoyed by his presence and forgets that she left the stove on while cooking, but Hak-kyu didn't come to return to her. Instead, he breaks up with her and tries to bribe her with money to keep the affair and the abortion a secret. Despite everything, she still loves him and begs him to take her away with him. They continue arguing, unaware that the stove has started a fire in the house, with her mute mother still inside. Realizing too late, Deok-yi runs into the burning house to try to save her mother. At the same time, Hak-kyu receives a phone call from his daughter saying that his depressed wife has locked herself in her room. Panicked, he calls 911 and rushes home, only to find that his wife has hanged herself. In the end, he loses his wife and Deok-yi loses her mother in the fire. 18 years go by. Hak-kyu has lived a wild and self-destructive life, trying to escape the guilt that haunts him. His novel becomes a bestseller despite his deteriorating lifestyle. He gambles, drinks, and womanizes. One day, he notices his vision becoming blurry and visits a doctor. The doctor tells him that his bad habits have caused complications and he may go blind completely. Despite being warned to quit drinking and smoking, he continues both as his career begins to fall apart. Eventually, the university fires him after discovering his illegal gambling and slush fund activities. His teenage daughter Chong-gi turns to nightlife due to the lack of attention from her father. Unbeknownst to him, someone has been watching his life closely for the past 18 years. His eyesight worsens to the point where he can no longer recognize faces. Deok-yi, now with a new appearance and unknown intentions, moves in as his new neighbor. Hak-kyu doesn't recognize her and welcomes her as a stranger. She introduces herself as Sejong. Sejong quickly becomes close to Chong-yi and they often meet nearby. Chong-yi confides in her about her feelings toward her father. Sejong advises her not to hate him. He's still her father. Without realizing it, Chong-yi has fallen into Sejong's trap. Sejong only wants to get closer to Hak-kyu and his daughter. She offers to help him write his books and even introduces him to a doctor who might be able to restore his eyesight. The doctor says there's a slim chance, but with the right preparation and medication, surgery could work. As Sejong helps Hak-kyu with daily tasks and his medication, the two grow closer. He still has no idea she's actually Deok-yi. Chong-yi begins to feel uncomfortable seeing them together. Eventually, the doctor tells Hak-kyu he's ready for surgery. When Hak-kyu asks about the cost, the doctor insists on discussing it with his guardian, Sejong. When he asks her, she tells him not to worry about the money. Overwhelmed by everything, Hak-kyu begs Sejong to take him to the gambling house to relieve stress. After a few small wins, he moves to the high roller table, only to lose all his money in one night. He tries to go all in, borrowing money from a shady lender with sky-high interest. But in the end, he loses it all again. The next day, Chong-yi tells Sejong that she sees her as an ideal mother figure, but she doesn't want her to marry her father. Later that night, after Chong-yi has gone to bed, Sejong helps Hak-kyu shave his beard. The sexual tension between them becomes too much to resist, and they give in to their desires, unaware that Chong-yi is watching from outside. When she accidentally makes a sound, she runs off to her room. Hak-kyu reassures Sejong that everything will be fine. He plans to tell Chong-yi that they're getting married soon. But what's Sejong's true motive? Does she want him completely for herself, or is there something deeper driving her? A few days later, the illegal lender shows up at Hak-kyu's home to collect the money, but he still doesn't have it. They threaten him with photos of Chong-yi. Frightened and feeling unsafe at home, Chong-yi runs away to stay with John. Meanwhile, the thugs keep coming back, pressuring Hak-kyu to sell his daughter to pay off the debt. He refuses, but they force him to sign documents anyway. They abduct Chong-yi and hand Hak-kyu some compensation money. It's then revealed that the illegal lender has been working with Sejong, also known as Deok-yi, all along. She told them where Chong-yi was hiding. Worse still, Deok-yi convinced the eye doctor to speed up Hak-kyu's blindness, wanting him to feel the deepest pain imaginable. Once an innocent girl, Deok-yi has become consumed by obsession and revenge. 6 months later, Chong-yi is still missing, possibly sold to some depraved old man. Deok-yi now treats Hak-kyu cruelly, even putting trash in his food. One day, she finally reveals the truth. She's Deok-yi, the innocent girl from his past. She's only kept going because of her thirst for revenge, wanting him to feel as broken as she once did. She even had sex with the eye doctor in Hak-kyu's own home just to hurt him further. But part of her still cares. Seeing him like this breaks her too. That's why she stays, just the way he wants her to. They say life is full of surprises. Chong-yi returns one day while Deok-yi is out walking with Hak-kyu. She knows everything now, about the affair that indirectly led to her mother's death, and about Deok-yi's revenge plot. Chong-yi survived after being rescued by a wealthy sugar daddy. She paid off her father's debt and has come back to Korea to settle scores. With her sugar daddy's help, she kidnaps the eye doctor and makes him pay for what he did. She forces Deok-yi to experience her father's blindness by having her corneas transplanted to Hak-kyu. The movie ends with Deok-yi and Hak-kyu sitting silently by the river. Perhaps deep down, they still love each other. But here's the lesson. Don't be blinded by love. Don't be consumed by revenge. Hak-kyu could have lived happily ever after with his family as a successful writer, if only he hadn't played with fire, Deok-yi's fire. But what would you do if you met the right person at the wrong time? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you next time.